So, just how big of a motivator is revenge? Well, Scrub Killer is about to try and show us. This is going to be Mousesports against Renault Vitality. And Johnny Boy, it's a Renault Vitality that the desk is saying is the best in the world right now. Do you agree with that statement?
Possibly. I think this series should tell us whether or not that's the fact, or whether or not that's likely to be the fact. But honestly, I haven't got a clue what the desk we're talking about. Leaf's talking about all kinds of animals, but the only one we've got in this one is, of course, Mouse. I don't think we're going to be seeing them come out as the favourites today, but they've got that revenge factor, which is true, like you mentioned, and that's the real thing that I'm excited to see in game one. Is Scrub going to come out hot and really just take over the series, start to dictate the tempo? One thing I want to know: do you think that will affect Vitality at all if he does?
I mean, I feel like Vitality will sort of just, shrug their shoulders to the majority of it, but sort of staying on the topic as well of revenge is Mousesports in general. We've been talking about Scrub trying to get some revenge. Speed and Cooks also have a little bit of a score to settle, considering this was one of the results that sent them downhill after they looked so almost locked in to get a top 2 spot last season. Then they would start to tumble down. And Vitality are one of those teams that helped them down that road. So, Scrub's not the only one with something to prove here.
Yeah, there's no doubt that the whole team of Mouse are going to be giving this their best shot. They're still in contention for one of those top 2 positions. They want to get this win to not just get themselves up the ladder, but also to bring Vitality back towards themselves. And, they haven't got the worst run coming into this as well. They've just come off a brilliant week last week, sweeping Veloce. So if there's ever a time for Mouse to feel confident, it would be this week now. And let's just find out if they can take it to Vitality.
Absolutely. This is the game of the day, and for very, very obvious reasons. Mousesports with it all to prove. Renault Vitality, the uncrowned kings of Europe right now, hot off a win. Both of these teams are, as we're going to get ourselves underway in game number 1. And we're starting off with Vitality, putting on a decent amount of pressure, but we're going to be very interested. And this is something that we've taken a look at the majority of the season, Johnny. The Mousesports rotations and their way of trying to get themselves out of defensive pressure. At times, it's looked very scrappy from them.
Yeah, they sometimes do end up getting in each other's way defensively, but more recently, I think they've really, made it their intention to calm down in defense, not be so desperate to get the ball out of their end immediately, because you can, of course, if you have goalkeepers like Scrub, Speed, Cucks in your team, you can sit back for a while. You're not going to be in a bad spot as long as your communication is on point. So it's going to be interesting to see just how high up the field Mouse are looking to push today. That's the first real chance of the game. Well saved by Alpha.
Alpha will now be on the ball as he blasts it long. And intent to try and find K-Dot maybe up on the backboard. Both of these teams just almost showing off their clearing muscle right now. Okay, see how far you can go? Okay, I can go even further with my next one, as it seems like Mouse will come out of it on top for the time being. But end-to-end right now, we are doing almost doing a bleep test across this length of the pitch. Hooks it, takes his time, blasts it off the ceiling. Vitality with an opportunity to try and lock down here, as there's actually very little boost on a couple of players. Scrub Killer puts that too far in the middle, and Speed will not be able to follow.
Yeah, I'm really, curious as to why Cucks didn't pass the ball to Speed there. We've seen that, link-up happening many times in the past since these two teamed up together. Speed downfield, Cucks are firing the ball at him for the redirect, but hey, here comes Speed all by himself. If nobody's going to pass the ball to him, he's just going to go all the way alone. That's 1-0 to Mouse. No pressure on Speed as he sets up this shot.
Yeah, Speed decides that, okay, we've both tried blasting the ball at each other. Here's me going to do just a little dainty touch to myself. That was exactly what he needed to try and put the first goal in. Gonna be Vitality now trying to respond. This is going to probably be one of the fastest games of Rocket League we've seen this season. Both teams very happy to try and let their pace do the talking. That's almost a second touch from K-Dot. Would add Ferry on the far side to try and maybe get the ball over too. Serious Speed, your goal scorer. Lovely pinch. Straight into the corner. Cooks can follow this up. Maybe get a setup as well. Who's around for him? He's taking everybody on. And Scrub Killer straight down into the path of Alpha.
That was a great pass that time by Cox. I was asking earlier, why has he not done that? And now he has. K-Dot's walking through Mind Game. He went a bit too far wide, and he's not thought too much about the recovery as well. Mouse having a good time so far, but get the ball out of their half. They're not getting pinned back at all. They're not double committing at all, which is great signs for them moving forwards.
Alpha with a little bit of time. Goes straight to the air. This is where he's at his strongest, but Mouse doing better than to give him too much time up in the air. But try and shut him down as quickly as you possibly can. Scrub, not in a great spot for this. He's going to probably need to get some support. Unfortunately, that support is coming from Fairy Peak. Over to Alpha. Crossbar will deny Renault vitality, but they're inching closer and closer and starting to win the possession war.
They know how accurately they have to shoot the ball past Mouse if they're going to get goals, but that was just a bit too high from Alpha. Still, though, the speed to get into position was impressive. Warning for Mouse, they need to really pay attention to those infield passes.
Scrub gets it over the top, be able to give a little bit of breathing room for his team. There's a launching clear from Cooks here. Sealing as well, gives Speed an opportunity to lay it off to Cooks, and that is a fantastic save from Alpha. Mouse, though, the offense that they're putting together does look pretty deadly. Both teams not lacking right now for offensive options, as Fairy had an open net to aim for, and I think he was almost surprised by it.
It looks like the accuracy is letting down Vitality at the moment. They've had good chances, but Mouse, meanwhile, they're actually hitting the ball on target and they're getting their shots saved, so they're testing the goalkeepers. It looks like Renault Vitality are not. There's another one on by Speed. So far, the goalkeeping has been good for Vitality, except for the one goal that they've conceded. The other end of the field, they're having a battle with the woodwork, and it's not going their way.
K-Dot to try and take on as many players as possibly can. Alpha brought in, 0 boost for him, but when has that ever stopped him? Speed powers the ball. He's got Cooks here again! Off the crossbar! Finally, one of them goes for Vitality in the woodwork with an MVP performance so far this game.
Always such a difficult opponent to get the ball past. Vitality only have 20 seconds now in game one. It's been incredibly solid for Mouse. They've looked like the real deal here. But Vitality have come close a few times. Will they get another chance before 0? You bet they will. Very Big puts it in. And it was again that pass straight out into the middle. Cux, he was trying to get the ball clear, but he ended up just centering it. Very Peak puts it in, and he's not going to miss from that range. It's just careless by Cux to give him that opportunity.
And the issue there for Scrub is that when the ball is played to the corner and you do have ball cam on, at no point does Fairy Peak come into your vision until he's actually just hit the ball over the top of you. So it's almost a blind spot for him in that situation. Not great, as Mouse do drop their lead at the last possible moment. We're going to go to overtime, Johnny. And if this is a good sight as to how the rest of this series is going to go, then trust me, I am looking forward to it.
Mouse really need to try and get this one over and done with as quickly as possible, though. They, of course, need this win more than Vitality do. They need game wins more than Vitality do. They're under pressure now, though, and if Vitality can start hitting the target more often, Mouse might be in trouble. You can already tell Mouse are afraid of their current position. They're all backing off so far. Look at the space that Vitality have to work with. Look out for the ground plays. They're going to try and exploit that.
Profile Vitality doing a better job of trying to control the midfield. Alpha. Get it too much further. This is a good half-body clear from Speed, but you can see each time they play this, unless they can get a second touch from somebody on this team, it can be very difficult to lock Vitality down. The layoff. Cooks it for Scrub. Three-way passing play. Shot didn't have enough venom on it to really test Vitality. Scrub takes the ball down. That's a good little bump from K-Dot. Just displaces the young Scot. Alpha will just clear long again. And this is the annoyance when you play at this level, is how well these players can hit this ball. You always feel like you're deep enough, but nope. The moment they make contact, you realize, okay, it could probably have just been sat on my backboard. I've been fine from there.
Yeah, this is just getting better and better for Vitality. We saw some nice passing play from Mouse. Scrub didn't put the shot on target when he was given it. But Vitality overall, they have got control of this series. They are just waiting for Mouse to make a mistake. And here comes Alpha with the dribble that we've been looking for. And this is a danger. If Mouse are going to sit this far back against players like Alpha, Fairy Peak, even K-Dot with the bounce dribble into full volleys. He's a terrifying player on the ground. They all are. You can't give them this much space. they're starting to get more and more chances.
Ball going to be played over to Alpha. Right into the middle, though. Fairy Peak for the backboard to finish the game. Doesn't get the triple tap, but might not need it off the post, and Cooks here. Nerves of steel to wait for it to come back across the face of his own car. Fairy Peak. Back over to K-Dot. Both teams just end to end, trying to find some way to get the goal that is required. Alpha takes his time. Has to try and force speed into a challenge. It's not typically a place that you want to be. K-Dot will not be able to reach this ball. Almost 3 minutes of overtime played. Still no indication of what it's going to take to separate these two teams. Scrub Killer now has got K-Dot in his sights. Chooses to go for the boost. Got options, he's got time. Speed is not needed because Scrub Killer will rinse the entire defense.
Okay, we wondered if Scrub was going to come out hot in game one. Well, there's your answer. He just picked up that ball in defense, nipped it past the first defender, and he just makes a beeline for the ceiling and places the shot perfectly. That is outrageous, and that is maybe going to sting a little bit for Fairy Peak and K-Dot. If there's one player that they don't want to do well in the Mouse lineup, it's got to be their former teammate Scrub.
And we've seen just how Scrub can play when he's in this sort of mood, when he's got the mentality of, okay, I am going to rip your defense to shreds, and that's exactly what he did for that goal. It took a little bit of space, a little bit of boost, and he created a whole lot of trouble for Vitality. And there is game number one for Mousesports. But Johnny, you know, if it takes us nearly 8 minutes to try and separate these teams, I very, very am interested to see how the rest of this series go, because this looks like it's going to be a very close one.
Oh yeah, I mean, we have to remember, although Mouse just got that win, it did look like the series, well, game rather, was moving a bit more and more towards Vitality's control towards the end. So that's not Mouse out of jail yet. They're not completely in control of this one. I think if we pick up where we left off in this overtime, it's going to be Vitality getting more chances to score. And it's those dribbles I really want to see Mouse shutting down faster. They can't give Vitality that space, or they're going to start to get so many opportunities to score. They're bound to take one or two of them.
Absolutely. I think you just hit the nail on the head of that. You need to try and shut down the dribbles. But for me, you know, there's not much in terms of passing plays. Yes, I think they started to slow down a little bit as the game got more tense, as that's going to be an immediate rebuttal from Alpha.
Well, that's a good response. That's a good way to start a game after losing in the previous one. Great speed from Alpha after the kickoff, and it's so typical to see quick kickoff goals after such a long drought. Vitality get to play with a lead now.
Their first lead of the series. The ceiling from Alpha. Such a wild card when it comes to his offense. You know he's going to use about 100 boosts to try and beat you. It's more of a question of how many players is he going to try and take out. Speed. Can only lay that off for a half volley to K-Dot, who's got Alpha to aim for. Alpha will not be able to be challenged in time, but luckily for Mouse, his first touch just gave too much work for him to do.
Long time left in the game for Mouse. They've been playing so calmly, they've been playing so composed all day, but are they going to be able to keep that up if the goals start flying in? You know, they didn't have much to say about this one. K-Dot, just a brilliant forward run, but this is exactly why you can't give these guys space on the ground. That's just too good from K-Dot. No chance for any goalkeeper worldwide.
And this is something that Vitality have seemingly adapted to from the last game. First time around, they were very much playing the ball and immediately starting to rotate players back. This time around, happy to leave people, use them as a passing option. And it's what's caught them out so far. The 2 goals down, Vitality be looking to consolidate this lead. Mousesports just need to calm it down as well. Need to stop the bleeding. Start figuring out how they're going to come back into this game. Cooks here, his first touch will not be too helpful towards that cause. Completely killed the play off.
It looks like Mouse have just entered today's series with the exact game plan that we expected. They're trying to limit their misplays, trying to keep double commits to you know, the absolute minimum as well. But I think they thrive in the chaos a bit more than Vitality do. If they can start to surprise them just ever so slightly, that might be one of the ways that they can take control of this series again, because Vitality are very much in it. Oh, hold on a second, though. That's not exactly the best touch in defense, is it?
Absolutely not. And it appears that we temporarily lost an alpha as well before that shot went in. Still one of the best shots we've seen this weekend, Johnny.
We saw a long gap with no goals in the first game, followed by Mouse, of course, Scrub Killer, taking that in overtime. But immediately afterwards, game 2 starts, we get a goal after the kickoff. So we just had a kickoff here. We're going to look to see if that, extra volatile state of the game will lead to something. It looks like it's going to go straight into full boost, full rotation on all players. So no quick start for Mouse, who are going to have to pick themselves up here because they might have thought they had something at the end of that, or right at the end of that last goal, but it has been taken away from them, and they just have to accept that. Admins have taken a look and decided that Alpha would have made that save if he didn't disconnect. It would have been easy for him. So they have decided, of course, not to give it to him. That's a good shot, actually, by Alpha. They're going to need to be playing at his best if they're going to continue to win this. He's had a cracking series so far. Vitality's still in full control.
It's going to be K-Dop trying to chase this one down. It's very rare that we do see a 2-goal lead dropped at the RLCS level. The good news, however, for Mouse is that there is plenty of time for them to do exactly that. Pass over to Speed. It's a very awkward touch. A pre-jump save will not be enough as Cooksir follows it straight up.
Well, Mouse will feel like this is what they deserve after having their goal taken away, but of course they still have to get one more, and now we get to see if they can find it with only 2 minutes 21 left. That's going to be a quick 2 minutes and 21 against a team like Vitality. You don't get many chances when you play against them, but hold on a second, get up on the back wall, did not make contact. That was a bit more awkward than it initially looked.
I think that was K-Dop's annual whiff. That's the one and only time we're ever going to get to see that out of him. As Scrub Killer does try to play the ball downfield, Fairy Peak is equal to him. Speed decides to go straight for net. Alpha over to K-Dop. That's the reason why you don't really want to be going for those sort of shots against Vitality, because they can control the ball so easily from there. You've got to put them in a position that they can make a slight mistouch, if just not get complete control over it.
A bit risky there by Scrub, chipping the ball into the middle. That's how they got scored on in game 1. Cuck's popping it off the wall. But both teams are actually showing a lot of respect to one another right now. They're giving each other a lot of space to work with. That's a big dunk from K-Dop. It's gone in! And that is against Scrub, who is going to be kicking himself for falling for this one. He ended up going too high on the ball. K-Dop blocked it underneath.
And K-Dop re-establishes the 2-goal lead. Now only a minute and a half left. Can Vitality just hold on for that amount of time against the Mousesports? That their offense seems to be clicking. So is Vitality so far. Speed with the flick. Unfortunately, K-Dop already there. And K-Dop is starting to look more and more like his MVP caliber self. Alpha off the ceiling. Can't quite get the ball past Cooks here, but K-Dop's going to just take as much time as he possibly can. Lofts it over the top. Speed for the reset. Has he got it? It doesn't quite look like it. Only got 2 wheels onto the ball. Require all 4 if you do want to get the flip reset. Only a minute left here, Johnny. Mousesports, all the work to do. Very little time to do it.
They are passing well right now. They've had a good bit of time with the ball alone, and that's only a good save from Fairy that keeps them out here. Mouse still coming forward, still on the hunt for that comeback late in the game. They don't have a lot of time left. They have to start putting shots on target. That is more desperate from Speed than anything else, so. And it looks like Vitality are just going to control this one as we get to the very final seconds of the game.
20 seconds. Cooks here. Only as far as K-Dop. Follow up from Speed. He drops it over. 1, 2, 3. Speed will offer a lifeline to Mousesports.
That is fantastic play by Speed and Cux. You know, we were asking them to maybe look for the pass instead of the shot a bit more often. Well, that was definitely 2 passes that could have easily been shots. But they're going to give this a go in the final 14 seconds. Mouse still have a chance here. That's a great kickoff to get things going.
Cooks in, over to Speed. They've got a couple of options downfield. There's actually Scrub Killer down the ball. That's a good challenge as well. Alpha forced to tip the ball over to the corner. K-Dop can't do anything with it. Speed unchallenged, but he couldn't make contact. Renault Vitality gasp their way through game 2.
Yeah, I don't know if Speed had a good angle on that ball as the ball came across to him, but he wasn't able to make contact. There were a couple of goalkeepers to beat, so he probably had to get a very precise touch in order to put it past him, and that's probably what's resulted in the miss there. He can't just hit the ball clean in the middle and fire it on target and hope for the best. You know, when it's 0 seconds, he has to not only keep it off the ground on the way in, but avoid the goalkeepers who are there. It's a very difficult, very accurate shot he's trying to make, and it ends up in him just missing the ball entirely. That was the last chance for Mouse, who are actually, I think, going to be going into game 3 with momentum on their side. It's funny that we had Vitality losing game 1, but looking like they had the majority of the control as the game came to an end, and now the opposite has happened in game 2. Vitality get the win, but it was Mouse who had most of the chances late in the game.
This has been a phenomenal series so far. 1 game each, 4 goals each. As you mentioned, Mousesports looking like the stronger team at the latter stages, but this entire series has now become a series of moments. Every single small misplay, every single outplay becoming a huge factor at creating good opportunities for your team, which, these opportunities have been few and far between, not for a lack of trying, just how good and how solid these defenses have been at getting in front of these chances before they are really dangerous at the back of the net.
Well, I was impressed, especially with Mouse, as we got to the end of that game. They started to play a bit more desperately. They were looking to make more aggressive plays on the ball, because if you don't, you're obviously not going to get a chance to get a 2-goal comeback in the last 30 seconds. But maybe now they can try and do that when they don't need a 2-goal comeback. We've got a fresh restart, but Mouse can still play with that same urgency, and maybe they'll get more opportunities for it and get Vitality scrambling.
Alpha looking to try and follow up. Going to cover the double commit from his teammates. Speed now only one-on-one against K-Dop. Oh, having a constant argument with our ceiling at the moment. Scrub Killer forced to turn around after picking up boost. Just okay, well, I guess I'm the one that's on this. Now pass over to Speed. To lay that one back off to Cooks here. He's going to have to try and chase that one down. Speed up. Beats Alpha off the backboard as well. It's going to be difficult to try and follow, so Fairy Peak just to give himself a bit of time, but he's being swarmed right now by Mouse players. And the pass going to be lofted far too high for a follow-up shot, but Mouse right now are unrelenting. Can they find the back of the net? No, Fairy Peak. They're just in time to prevent the shot, and now it's a counter-attack, but nobody around for K-Dop to pass to.
Well, Speed was maybe looking for a solo play there, but it ended up falling for Scrub. They're even making team plays by accident now, but getting up a chance at the other end. The mistakes are starting to come through because the pace of the game has increased significantly. Mouse have had the majority of the say in that, and Vitality, with some boost troubles at the back, looked on very shaky legs for a moment, but they didn't concede, and they were still all tied up in game 3.
The wall, Scrub Killer. He's been dangerous from here previously, this time less boost to work with. Speed is quite far forward right now for a third man. He's at K-Dop's got somewhere to work with, but at first touch, far too heavy. He's going to struggle to tip that down for Alpha. Fairy Peak goes for net, and Fairy Peak has squeezed it through.
Fairy Peak has been consistent this game. He's been rescuing Vitality in defense over and over again, and now he comes in, wins a 50 with Scrub. I don't know if that made contact with Scrub's car on the way past, but it may have done, and that would have done nothing but accelerate the ball towards the net. Vitality opened the scoring in game 3. They were able to turn an opening goal into a game win in the last one. Let's see if they can do the same in game number 3. And put Mouse on 2 games in a row, or a series loss. That's Fairy Peak to Alpha, and that is going to be 2-0 Vitality.
And Vitality are starting to style on them. Fairy Peak picking back up where he left off on Monday. He had an outstanding performance in the latter stages against Dignitas, and he looks to do it yet again. He's been a difference maker so far in this series. He's going to look to try and continue to do that. Alpha goes straight for net. It's going to be dropping down for Cooks to try and control. Fairy Peak picks up boost. Going to have very limited options. Gets the drop down, however, and it only had Scrub Killer in the way to stop K-Dop from turning it in.
Fairy Peak's been outstanding in this game. He's still the one who's dictating the flow of the game. at both sides of the field. And for the last minute or so, the ball's been stuck in the Mouse end of the field. They just can't get rid of it. Theory Peak has been the main reason for that. Now Mouse do get a chance to play an offense. Not a lot of boost for Scrub as he makes a play. Cuxer comes in, his shot is tame. And with 2 minutes remaining in the game, it is still a long way to go for Mouse. That's a good opportunity again. You know, Vitality don't look completely invincible in defense today.
Absolutely not, but it's very difficult because the mistakes that they are making leave the ball quite deep in their side of the field. But how confident do you have to be to say, okay, Vitality are going to make a mistake here. I might as well be that far up. It is a very risky play to typically go for. Here's Very Peak again. Lethal in the final third. It now plays off the backboard. A third goal would spell the end of game number 3 and put Vitality onto match point. Looks there. Tries to clear his lines. 2 goals still required. K-Dot forces a challenge. Speed might be able to follow this one, but not quite able to do so. Now there's only a minute. And right now, Mousesports struggling to get the ball even out of their own side of the field. Scrub will do exactly that, though. Can't win the challenge with K-Dot, who is now starting to win more and more of these as this series goes on.
Yeah, we're final minute now, and you're looking at Mouse, and you're wondering, are they going to elevate like they did in the last one? Are they going to start to increase the pressure? They're going to up the pace? They haven't had many opportunities to do that this game, because Vitality have really taken over boost control at both ends of the field. And they got a couple of late chances in the last game. Let's see if Mouse can do it again. It's infield. Speed's actually going to get a shot with Scrub bumping. It's still saved though by Alpha.
Here is Very Peak. Looks to go the whole length of the pitch. Speed will shut it down, but this is not the side of the field that Mouse want to find themselves in. Speed and Scrub, both in their own corner. They needed Cooks here to get that one clean. They simply haven't done so. Just trying desperately to get something going, but they're just flopping around the ball. And Vitality calmly taking control of everything. Almost had themselves a third if that pass connected. But it is going to be too little, too late right now. Mousesports will require a 2-game run if they want to try and keep their top 2 hopes alive, because at the moment, Johnny, Vitality starting to look solid.
Vitality on the back of Theory Peak, really taking control of game 3. But the whole team really got it together at the end there after a pretty shaky beginning to the game, and credit to them, they have been the team who have responded a lot better to that restart overall, or you know, that break in the action. And you can't ever really doubt them. They're just so solid mentally. That was the one thing I was worried about with Mouse today, is even if they do play an outstanding series, even if they do really bring it to Vitality, you know that Vitality have got levels to go to. They've got gears that they can go up to help them come back and, you know, retake control of a series like this. And that's what they've done here. Mouse still in it, and they need 2 in a row if they're going to take this one.
Absolutely, and we do look at this series so far. Scrub Killer, you know, he's doing decent work right now, but this is not the way you wanted this result to go. Remember, a loss here from Mouse does knock them out of top 2 potential. A victory for them, however, Johnny, leaves 6 teams currently in the runnings for those top 2 spots. So not only are Mouse hoping they win this, but there's quite a few other teams as well looking at them.
Yeah, it just depends what kind of team you are. Are you a team that enjoys potential, or are you a team that likes to just settle for middle of that pack? Because, like you said, if Mouse can get this win, that really does increase a lot of other teams' chances. But at the same time, they'd have another team to compete with in Mouse. So this is going to be such an interesting one. Game 4 just getting underway now between Mouse and Vitality. Mouse need 2 in a row if they're going to get the win. Scrub Killer, he was the difference maker in game 1. Against his old team. Let's see if he and the boys can do it again.
2 wins in a row. Alpha won 2 challenges in a row. Brooks just tips it right over the top of an oncoming K-Dot. Charging forward. Scrub Killer, that is a very ambitious ceiling challenge.
You know, he wants to attack the ball early for sure, but oh, hold on a second. That's on the goal line. I don't think even Vitality expected that one to be lurking on the line for as long as it did. But, you know, against a team like Vitality, especially players like Alpha, you have to attack him early in the air. Your defense behind you will thank you for it, because even if you don't make contact with the ball, at least you've forced him to do something. Same sort of thing could be said for ground plays. Here comes Speed with one of them. He's demoed. Now, chance for Mouse to get a bit more pressure on Vitality. They haven't had much of that in the past game after Vitality started to take control of it. Vitality still the only team with real shooting opportunities in this game. And it's, you know, overall not looking great for Mouse. I think they've got to try and get things a bit more chaotic. Speed things up and maybe get Vitality out of position. Scrub might have even double touched that one by accident, but it did work out for them. But Vitality sitting at the halfway line, they're just waiting for the ball to come to them.
It does often seem like Mouse require the efforts of one person to try and clear every single time. Also utilizing that person to try and get their setup as well. They're going to need some more utilization of everybody on their team as K-Dop is removed from the pitch. Alpha. Try to get it to Ferry. It's going to be a loose ball for Speed. Tries to find Cooks here. Mouse just trying to outpace right now. This might be their opportunity. Going for the top corner, and Speed finds it.
Great break rotation by Cux to set this one up. You saw him just nip in front of Vitality, stick the ball sideways. That made it so awkward, not just for Fairy Peak, who was in the middle, but also for Alpha on the goal line. Not an easy one to cover all angles with. Speed, he picked his spot well. He saw the pre-jump, knew exactly where to put the ball.
Like this series more than any other, Johnny, has been the one where pressure and momentum seems to be just switching more than any other series we've seen so far. Speed will be forced to save. K-Dop is there, but so is Speed, who darts across the goal line.
But he's having a hang on again. They were able to hold on to that lead that got them the game 1 win quite a long time before Vitality equalized. Forced them to take it in OT. They'll be trying not to go down that route here. Although Vitality haven't had the best success in many overtimes this season. Alpha 1v1 with Cux, who does well here. K-Dop shot his top shelf as always. And it's saved well by Speed.
There it's the corner. Speed does clear back to midfield. Everybody is in a good spot right now for Vitality. They've managed to lock Mouse down for a good period of time, but when you see players like K-Dop currently on 0 boost, it does mean it's going to get harder and harder for him to keep it going. And Scrub playing Disruptor. He has done exactly what he set out to do, and that is relieve pressure from the defense. Now maybe a chance to make it 2. Speed tries it. Alpha saves. And Scrub staying all the way back. Doesn't want to overcommit with this 1-goal lead. Cooks here. Back into the midfield. Fairy Peak. Drop it down maybe for a teammate. It's so hard right now to get the amount of space required to really set up a proper play. It's more of a game of just making the most of what you have. And Fairy Peak has got exactly that. He has made the most of that opportunity.
That is such a good passing play by Fairy and Alpha. You're not used to seeing 1-2 plays all the way up to ceiling height and back down to the ground like that. But how did Mouse keep up with that one? Eye on the ball probably is the problem, but with Fairy Peak coming in from a totally different angle, it's so hard to see him coming. They've done it again. Vitality gonna force Mouse to work for the win. They might just get it though. Speed fires wide. He did want to make sure not to hit Fairy Peak with that shot though, so it is understandable that he would put that as far left as possible.
I feel like he was almost clipped on his way in for the shot, and that put his car off position. K-Dop will be slow playing in his own corner. He hasn't got the time for that though. Scrub Killer out of nowhere to try and play into the midfield. Next goal is crucial for Mousesports season. They must get it to keep a top 2 spot alive. Something that they could not do last season. Speed up against Alpha. Alpha goes 50, and it's good enough to get Fairy in, who cannot stop scoring.
Brilliant play by Alpha. Look how alive this ball is. It's all that matters for Alpha in that play is that he makes sure the ball doesn't roll into the corner. He kept it off the wall, and that's a 2-1 lead for Vitality. They're looking to take 3 games in a row here in order to get rid of Mouse and prove to, I think, most people that they are the team to beat in Europe right now.
Going to be yet another game decided by a single goal. Mouse, 20 seconds to try and find the play that will get them back into this game and back into this series. There's a demo from Speed will do exactly that.
What a play by Speed off the ball. He just runs straight into the goal area, takes out the keeper, then makes sure that it's going to go across the line uncontested. And that is brilliant by Mouse again. They know when to turn it up, they know when to force the issue. Speed off the ball makes the play happen.
Alpha looking for the follow. It's a great window from Scrub. Speed went darting forward. He might be able to play this one afterwards. Lovely doink over the top. Alpha forced to play it to his own corner. There's two players there. One of them being Scrub Killer, who was going to follow, but it hits the ground.
Great save by Fairy. He actually hit that down into the ground on purpose just to end the game. He knew it was going to be 0 seconds. Now here he comes in overtime. He's 1v1 with Scrub, and Scrub Killer stands in the way.
Now K-Dot offloads it to Alpha! Vitality will take it!
The center ball from K-Dot found Alpha all alone in the middle. And although Scrub Killer kept out Fairy on the previous play, he couldn't keep out Alpha on that one. And it is going to have to be one game only for Mouse today. Vitality take 3 in a row.